Three years after shutting down its iconic factory in Petaling Jaya, British American Tobacco Malaysia says it will consider expanding its cigarette manufacturing in the country again. BAT MD Eric Stoll says the company made a conscious decision to open the little plant in Johor Bahru because it wants to maintain its Malaysian manufacturing license. The Johor Bahru plant, with the capacity to produce some 150 million sticks, opened in October 2018. Stoll says BAT is very committed into investing in Malaysia. In the long term, he says it could be interesting to produce and manufacture in the country again. BAT closed its Petaling Jaya plant in 2016 and sold the factory for 218 million ringgit, affecting 230 employees in the process. It said the move was due to a high excise environment, which ultimately led to the sharp rise in illicit cigarettes and significantly lower legal sales. Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad says Formula One could return to the Sepang International Circuit as early as next year or 2021. The Malaysian Grand Prix was dropped after 2017 due to rising costs and limited returns. Last year, Youth and Sports Minister Syed Abdul Rahman had said that the government had to fork out $50 million or 204 million ringgit to cover the cost of hosting the sport. But the Prime Minister today said Sepang should be a fixture on the F1 calendar, citing keen interest from the public. He notes that the track in Sepang is still very busy, adding that F1 has motivated Malaysians to go into the automotive industries. Mahathir is expecting more than 100,000 spectators for the Malaysian Grand Prix and about 200 million viewers when TV stations broadcast it worldwide. This, he says, would make the cost of hosting the sport worthwhile for the country. Mahathir was the Prime Minister when the first F1 race in Sepang was staged in 1999. Former Prime Minister Dato' Sri Najib Razak issued cheques worth 10.7 million ringgit from his personal Islamic accounts in early 2015 to recipients including UMNO and contractors who worked on his home renovations. The cheques were confirmed by the fifth witness to appear in Najib's SRC international trial, an AmBank cheque processing senior manager. The KL High Court heard today that Najib channelled 1 million ringgit each to UMNO's liaison office in Pulau Pinang and UPCO in Sabah. Another 300,000 ringgit went to UMNO Johor Bahru division. Some of the larger cheques include a 3.5 million ringgit one made out to law firm Hafarizam 1 and Aisyah Mubarak. This transaction may be linked to one of two money laundering charges involving 15 million ringgit faced by UMNO lawyer Datuk Muhammad Hafarizam Harun. About 300,000 ringgit went to an interior design company and a specialist plumbing firm which did work on Najib's residence along Jalan Langgak Duta in Kuala Lumpur. These are among the 15 cheques issued from Najib's accounts. The witness also confirmed a separate 20 million ringgit cheque issued in 2014 by SRC International to its CSR arm, Ihsan Perdana. Ihsan Perdana received another cheque for 103,361 ringgit from an unnamed company several months later. The court will reconvene at 9 a.m. on Monday. Moodys Investors Service warns that the 6.23 billion ringgit Putrajaya is planning to spend to bail out ailing Felda will only add to the government's debt burden. In a note today, the International Ratings Agency said the government's debt is already significantly above the median of A-rated sovereigns, and the bailout package is a credit negative. Moodys notes that the government plans to spread its aid over 7 years, and while Felda will raise about half of this, these fundraisings will be backed by government guarantees, while the remainder will come from loans and grants. It estimates that the assistance will raise the government's debt burden by 0.3% of GDP to 56% in 2019, substantially higher than the median debt ratio for A-rated sovereigns of 37.8% and up from 50.7% in 2017. Moodys included in its estimates 1MDB's debt and 20 billion ringgit of funding provided to Tabung Haji. It says a higher debt burden will weigh on Malaysia's debt affordability, particularly because the share of revenue to GDP at 16.3% in 2018 is likely to remain at or near record lows. The Genting Group is said to be confident about being chosen to build an integrated resort in Japan. Quoting Genting Group Chairman and CEO Tan Sri Lim Kok Teh, the Business Times reports that he is just as confident as he was before Genting made a winning resort bid in Singapore in 2006. Lim is also the executive chairman of Genting Singapore, which is bidding for 3 casino licenses in Japan with an eye on building a resort in Osaka or Yokohama. His optimism is based on the fact that Tokyo said it will use a Singapore-style integrated resort. And with the integrated resort industry in Japan expected to be a stringently regulated one, Genting is hopeful that its track record of operating in Singapore will give the group an edge over its competitors. Given the low interest rates, the Business Times says the company may choose to borrow in yen to fund its multi-billion US dollar investment. The result of the bidding for the licenses is expected in mid-2020 at the earliest.